In today's episode, we sit down with a guest who completely redefines what it means to reinvent yourself. Melissa Kill is a first-generation Korean American who went to the United States Naval Academy, to Korn Ferry, to McKinsey, producing digital content for clients like the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and Amazon Web Services before becoming one of the emerging voices in sales, mindset, and AI automation. She sold solar, cybersecurity, aerospace, hardware, high-ticket offers, AI, and today she runs her own AI automation agency, co-owns a tax business, and builds wealth through real estate. But this episode isn't just about accomplishments. We dive into breakups, surgery, dark moments, trauma, immigrant upbringing, scarcity mindset, leadership, relationships, boundaries, abundance, growth, and what it truly takes to rebuild yourself from the ground up. Melissa shares how changing your environment changes your life, how adversity shapes identity, and how to choose partners who can go to war with you, how healing old patterns can open the door to opportunities that show up almost instantly. Get ready for a raw, honest, and deeply human conversation. This is the story of Melissa Kill. Melissa, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's been a while. We're following each other on Instagram, and now we're here in person.
Mm-hmm.
So you're a person that's done quite a bit in your life. I think it'd be cool if you just name off all the stuff.
Okay. I was born and raised in LA. I'm a first generation Korean American. I went to the Naval Academy for college. So I was in the Navy for 4 years, and then I went into executive recruiting at Korn Ferry, which is the largest global executive search firm. I worked at McKinsey in New York City during COVID as a digital media producer. I made digital content for the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Amazon Web Services, a lot of big clients like that. It was like their in-house advertising agency kind of. And then I got into sales during COVID. I started in solar sales. I did cybersecurity software, aerospace hardware, AI, high ticket, and now I have my own AI automation agency. I'm an owner of a tax business based in the US, and I just invest in real estate and different things like that.
Amazing. I love that. So you've done a couple things.
A couple of things. I've been busy.
Yeah. What do you think is the driving factor for you to do all this random stuff? Because that's a lot of different fields, different stuff. And you can't really you can take the sales with you, but, cybersecurity and solar is, different game in its own and everything else. So.
Very different. Yeah. I mean, I've always just followed opportunity and I love to learn.
Yeah.
I like being stimulated. I don't like being bored. So just also coming from my upbringing, my dad was very, hard on us in a loving way, of course, but he pushed us to be our best and to constantly be the best at everything that we did. So my mom also pushed us to be very well-rounded and to try everything. So that's kind of how I approach everything. If something is interesting to me, then I'll go all in, learn about it, explore as much as I can. And so I feel like very grateful to have had all the different experiences that I've had. But it definitely comes from a place of just wanting to explore, wanting to learn, and also ride the wave of whatever, the biggest technology, the most opportunities. So AI is that right now, and I didn't want to miss out on it. So it's been great just learning about it, applying it to my business and applying it to other businesses as well.
That makes total sense. I mean, number one, Asian parents, right?
Exactly.
You gotta listen.
Those immigrant Asian parents.
You gotta do what you gotta do, And then AI. I mean, look, for me, I mean, that's the same thing the way that I view the podcast studio, right? I mean, this is what's taking off right now.
Yeah.
Content is the currency of the future.
Mm-hmm.
And, I always believed in, if there's a gold rush, sell the shovel. Right?
Exactly.
And you're doing AI for other companies. So what does that look like? How are you doing that? What do you do for them? How do you help?
Basically understanding where their biggest pain points are. A lot of that's in their sales processes or marketing and lead gen and client acquisition. So the main parts that every business has to deal with, it'll never go away, which is great. But basically applying like AI automations or agents into those processes to remove human error. Like let's say to get rid of a virtual assistant or an appointment setter that's not working 24/7, that will mess up calls sometimes or burn leads. Like you can train an agent to do that or an automation to respond to common objections, to set and qualify the appointment. You can even have an AI sales agent close depending on what, the product is. So for me, it's exciting to constantly learn about what the newest technology is, and it's constantly improving on a daily basis and leveraging that to help other people who have no idea how where to start, how to integrate it with their current systems, and then how to optimize for, the lowest human error and the most high efficiency.
Yeah, I mean, I see some pretty exciting things happening with like ManyChat, which I remember
Mm-hmm.
back in the day when I was doing wholesaling in Canada. You had to manually like if this then that and
Mm-hmm.
build the entire flow, and it
Yeah.
was so annoying and boring and tedious.
Yeah.
And then like one thing goes wrong and it doesn't work, and you're like, oh my God. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember thinking, I'm like, when is AI gonna get here to just do this shit automatically? Like 300 years? Fuck, I'm not gonna be alive for that. And here we are, like 2025, boom, like full AI agents closing deals for you.
It happened way quicker than I expected. And I don't know. I think it's amazing that we're living in this time of technology. I think there are many scary parts of it too, if we're thinking about big consequences down the line. But for right now, I'm just like constantly interested to see how I can save time, duplicate myself, like reduce the time that I'm spending working. Cause like while I'm taking on all these different things, I truly believe in work-life balance. I want to rest. I want to travel and spend time with friends and family. So finding that balance and you leveraging the AI tools so that I spend as little time on the business as possible.
Yeah, that's very true. And I mean, that's sort of the point of it, right? I mean, you get employees so they can replace what you can't do in a single
Mm-hmm.
day. And now when the AI comes in, it starts to sort of replace the employees as well. And I've always thought this, and especially for the Gen Zs and even some of the millennials, I mean, guys, like,
Mm-hmm.
it's really important that you either learn or get replaced. That's kind of where we're at. And a lot of people are
Totally.
taking that for granted.
Definitely. I mean, things are moving so quickly unless you're in like sales, which I feel like will never truly go away. That's also a skill that you have to learn. But I feel like right now, people in tech, the constant layoffs that have happened from all of the excessive hiring that happened during COVID, a lot of those people are sort of trying to figure out what to do next because their skills are obsolete. And it's funny because 4, 5, 6 years ago, I was like, oh, should I go to a coding boot camp? But I was like, I don't really want to do this, but maybe it'll help me like get a solid job in the tech world. And then I'm now realizing I'm glad I didn't do that because I would have been miserable. And it's just all those people, a lot of those people are getting laid off and replaced now. So I think putting time and energy into learning a different skill, maybe sales, if you can do sales, is really important. So you can ensure that you'll never be completely replaced.
Yeah, or just consult ChatGPT.
Exactly.
Like, I'm about to be wiped out. What do I do?
Exactly. Exactly. But also like my business partner, he's amazing. He was a product manager and kind of saw where things were headed. So now he builds our like complex automations. I focus on the agency side. But yeah, it's great because he was able to pivot and use his background as a product manager and his understanding of how to manage a team of engineers and things like that and how to troubleshoot. He was able to turn that into a really great business. We actually met here a few months ago and we just hit it off and realized we're like on the same wavelength. And I have the sales side skills and he has the technical skills. So we made like a really great partnership.
Well, that's super important. I think for partnerships, you got to complement each other.
Yeah.
Two people doing the same thing usually ends up in divorce.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, complementary skills, and just like the trust, I'm sure you've been through this. Every entrepreneur I've
Oh,
known
yeah.
has been through some sort of bad partnership where you just find out who people really are. They'll throw you under the bus or stab you in the back to make a quick buck. And I'm glad that I've now surrounded myself with people that I really trust and I don't have to worry or like wonder if they're going to steal my money.
100%. And, I've definitely gone through that. And one of my current partners actually has a phenomenal ideology on this
Mm-hmm.
that we always implement. And it's sort of when you're about to get into that heated discussion, you kind of call a friend.
Mm.
And that's been a tremendous part of the partnership where every time there's something that we disagree on or we don't know which decision to make or what direction to go, we're going to call somebody that knows absolutely nothing about this and then plead our case, right? Like Einstein said, if you truly know a subject, you can explain it to a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
So if my point makes sense and his point makes sense, we should be able to plead our case to this random anonymous third party. And it can be anybody. Just ask somebody to listen and then let them mediate. And then when they kind of regurgitate what the situation is, you might have a completely different perspective on it because it got simplified to what actually is happening, what actually matters.
Definitely. And that's a great strategy. I mean, I believe in a mediator or a translator or a therapist or coach in kind of any regard, whether it's professional
Yeah.
or personal. I think that's really important, is having a neutral third party being able to help you see different perspectives, that because we're limited by our own, past experiences, by the knowledge that we consume. It's very difficult for me to see your perspective or understand how your brain works and vice versa. So having someone else kind of helping you navigate that, I think that's a really great strategy that I'm going to be using in business more.
Absolutely, absolutely. I always heard good paperwork makes for good friends, and then mediate. It's
Mhm.
just mediate. Don't get into it. Don't go too far. Have somebody
Mhm.
else come in, and then they're able to sort of control the emotions. Because sometimes you think you're right, and you might not be, or you might be, but the way that you're so passionate about it, you're gonna focus that into something that this person is your friend, this person is your partner, this person is on your side. You both
Yeah.
want to win and succeed, and sometimes that destroys relationships. And I know I've done that too. I've gone really, really intense on certain subjects just because somebody's failing or something's going wrong or
Mhm.
something's not working, and you're passionate and you're showing that you
Totally.
care, but not everybody's ready to kind of handle that kind of heat. So it's
Exactly.
it's really important to have somebody else step in and help out a little bit.
I know. And with us passionate people, Koreans, Serbians, like we bring that, into our business, which I think allows us to be successful and get through the hard times and all of that. But at the same time, like for me, what I'm working on is like trying to take emotion out of business. Like it's just numbers, it's
Yeah.
systems, it's automations, it's just following certain steps to get to where you need to go. And you have to take the emotion out of it, because sometimes if you're spending a lot of money on coaching or marketing or your ad spend, it's like, oh crap, like I'm spending a lot of money. Like, is this going to turn out well or not? But you just have to follow the system, be systematic about it, and take the emotion out of it. So that's something that I'm definitely working on.
Absolutely agree. Now, with all this, I mean, we try our best and we hope that everything works out, and we try to do everything we can to make it work out. But sometimes it doesn't. And this is personal or relationships or partnerships, business, family, whatever it is. So out of everything that you've gone through, been through, experienced, what would you say was your darkest moment?
Oh my gosh. I feel like I've been through many dark moments in my life, which is, like I said, I think every entrepreneur does. And it's like either you push through it and keep going, or you just go back to a corporate job and you're like, you give in the towel, or you throw in the towel and you give up. But um, I would say 2 weeks ago, I went through a really dark time. I'm not gonna lie. Um, I went through a breakup, I went through surgery, and it just taught me a lot about myself and what I'm willing to accept and what I cannot tolerate in a partner. And I'm glad I went through that experience. I have no regrets. I came out stronger on the other side. It's only been a couple of weeks, but since I cleared that space in my life, so many amazing opportunities and blessings and miracles and experiences and people have come in to just support me and lift me up. And just so many great things have happened, like just being on these podcasts now and starting my own podcast and just having all the time and energy back to focus completely on myself, my growth, my sales coaching, like all the things that I'm doing that takes time. I don't have this draining energy on me, or these limiting beliefs that I believe were put on me that were sort of holding me back. But it's funny because 3 weeks ago when I went to Creator Hub, that's kind of what set off this chain of events where my life just started, everything started sort of like unraveling or shifting. And because I was around these people who were doing the things that I wanted to do, they had big
Mm,
media presences, this content machine, podcasts, like huge agencies. And what I realized is they would say there's no difference between me and you. Like Eddie Malouf was saying 6 years ago, he was living in his parents' basement and no one would even let him work for free. But now he's just like killing it. And it was so inspirational to me, where I was like, you're right. Like there is no difference between me and you. It's just the people that I'm around, the limiting beliefs that I didn't even know I had. But since I've like cleared that space in my life, everything has changed. And it's so crazy how quickly your life can change once you change your mindset, change the people who you're around. But that's why I think, I love this community here so much, because you're just around people who think the same as you, who dream big, who have been through the struggles, but have also experienced success, and they want to support you and see how they can help you achieve your goals.
absolutely agree. And one funny thing that happened to me, it was a very small piece of advice, but it was very life changing. And I really pondered on it for a long time after I heard it. and it was about during the COVID time, and Canada was in like stupid lockdowns all the time. Everybody's
Yeah.
depressed, everyone's sad, and there was a mastermind going on in Miami.
Mm.
And the only way I could get there is I had to drive across the border. So
Oh my
drive like
gosh.
24 hours, like that's a long drive, like Toronto down to Miami. That's
Yeah.
a couple days, right?
Wow.
So I drove all the way down, and I got the front like VIP table, and I sat there. And it's kind of funny how that works. This one kid asked me, he's like we're sitting in the same room, like why would you pay like thousands of dollars for this table?
Yeah.
And I just kind of said it as a joke, but it's true. I kind of meant
Mhm.
that. I'm
Mhm.
like, so people like you sit in the back. And he was like,
Burn.
"Oh wow, what the fuck?" He's like, "Oh, but it makes sense." And I'm like, dude, everybody in the front's making deals, making connections. Everyone in the back's like, "What's going on?" So
Totally.
that's sort of like part of it. But then I went on the yacht. So it was like Labor Day weekend. We had like two giant yachts right in like Miami Beach. You're hanging out, and I see this guy, and I'm like, holy fuck, man, this guy's got like 50 employees and like another 200 like online. His big company. And I was like, wow, dude, you're doing a lot. Like, you're involved in a lot of things. It's fucking great.
Mhm.
And you're so young. He was like I think like 5 years younger than me. And I'm like, man, that's fucking impressive. That's
Yeah.
great. And he was like, dude, it's normal to have a lot. And I was like, what? Like, yeah, it's just normal.
Yeah.
It's normal to have a lot.
Mm.
And I was like, fuck, like what a mindset shift.
Mhm.
Because sometimes you think even like your own success, like you limit yourself because you're like, well, I used to have this, now I got all of this. This is not normal. This is way beyond what
Mhm.
I can handle or deserve or whatever. And the self-doubt kicks in. And then
Yeah.
you kind of like revert back and self-sabotage to what you're
Mhm.
comfortable with.
Yeah.
But you just kind of normalize it. It's normal to have a lot. Like it's normal to have a private jet. It's normal to be on the biggest yacht in Miami Beach. It's normal
Yeah.
to have all these kind of friends. It's normal to travel like this and do these things. And that really kind of created a mindset shift in me. Now, you're big on coaches and masterminds and
Mhm.
all this. Who
Mhm.
would you say was your biggest, influence or coach or mentor in your life?
Oh man, I feel like I've had so many mentors over the years. And I think about this a lot because, like, a lot of people say they're self made, but like, who I'm sure you had teachers and coaches and things along the line that helped you and encouraged you. Even just like one word, one conversation, like that will really build somebody up. But for me, like, I have a really good sales coach now, Temple. Um, I've paid for various sales coaching and therapies or sort of mindset coaching because that's something I realized early on, like you were saying, this abundance mindset. When you come from an immigrant family and you're raised, in a new country to be a survivor, to feel like everything is going to be hard, you have to work for it, you have to play by the rules. Um, just to get by, it's hard to deprogram yourself from that. And that's something that I've been realizing a lot, especially in the last few years, is like how much you don't even realize like, oh, you're checking the prices and it's like 50-cent difference and you go with that one. And I'm like, I catch myself and I'm like, why do I do this? It's because that's how I was raised. But
Mm,
now just actively programming myself to be abundant, to choose the more expensive thing, to buy the $10,000 ticket, to be in the right room in Dubai with people who I want to aspire to be like, who I aspire to be like, or who I want to learn from and network with. Like just those mindset shifts of taking that leap and being okay, understanding that like, you will benefit to the extent that you believe that you will. The
yeah,
only
very true.
limits that we experience are the ones that we place on ourselves and maybe the people that around us are placing on us. And so I've just been super aware of all of that. And that's why I have a mindset coach, I have a therapist, I have a sales coach, because I know that these investments into me are only going to pay huge dividends, like exponential dividends, because I believe that that's the mindset, that's the intention that I'm going into these programs with. So I know it's going to pay off. I'm not going to worry about investing 5 or 10K in myself if I know it's gonna make me millions of dollars down the line. And so that's I feel like at this point in my life, like today, I'm so grateful that I've been able to meet so many amazing people, that in my corner, on my team, like in this community, I have so many amazing people, entrepreneurs, friends to look up to support me and to constantly push me and to keep me in check. Like, hey, like, why are you setting your goals so low? Why do you think it's going to be hard? Why do you think it's going to take a long time? It can be easy. And so I've been leaning into that. I've been journaling, doing the meditations, and all of that to deprogram myself from those like limiting beliefs that it's going to be hard, because I believe now like it is going to be easy. I enjoy doing the work. I kind of see what I'm doing now as sort of like a school project that makes you money.
You know, there's an interesting thing that I was reading, and I noticed that I've been Serbians have a very pessimistic, negative mentality, and I think that's the key to their success accidentally.
Mm,
And I've been using this in an optimistic way, but you know, it's just realizing what could happen, and accepting it. So there's a Spartan psychology of what they used to train young 7 to 13-year-old boys, and also the later soldiers that go to war. And they would they would actually sit down, and instead of like meditating on peace, they would meditate on the opposite. They say everything is fucked. We're getting fucked. They have 1,000 more soldiers than us. They got better weapons. We got nothing. We're all hungry. We're all tired. We're sick. There's a plague. We're gonna fucking die. We're gonna lose. Everything is the worst. We already lost the battle. We barely survived. We lost our loved ones. We lost our city. Lost our way of life. Everything is like the worst. And they would actually sit down and meditate on the worst possible case scenario. And through this, you know, what I noticed, like, especially like in our culture, it's like everybody complains, everybody bitches, everybody moans, everybody's negative, everybody's a pessimist. But then when shit actually goes down, nobody's really fearful. Nobody's really like caught by surprise. They're kind of like, yeah, you know, well, fuck, we got to get through it. It is what it is. So then I realized, you know, the ones that figure out like how to use that mentality, you know, that's the way you should go into things, right? So like actually meditate on that. Like you don't have to like, oh, you know, like blindly positive.
yeah.
I'm so optimistic. Law of attraction. Woo, woo, woo. Okay, great, cool. But what if it does go shit? You know, like once you get enough reference experience, you're like, bro, not everything is perfect, you know?
Oh, for sure.
Like I've never had anything go like, oh yeah, I said A to B and that's it. I'm usually like C, D, E, F, G. Like I finished somewhere here and there's a bunch of obstacles on the way. So if you picture the worst case scenario, just become comfortable with it. Then when it arises, you're like, well, it's not so bad. I already have, you know, the training experience for this. It's the same thing when you go to war, like they have to train you by shooting a bullet beside your head. So when it happens in real life, you're like, holy fuck, and you jump up, get sniped in the head. You need to be used to these kind of situations.
Definitely. And I think that's the importance of adversity. And what I realize in like romantic partnerships or business partnerships, like I need to have somebody who has been through some fucked up shit, because I have, and it helps you build that thick skin. And like, you're right, just expecting that or knowing that you'll be okay no matter what happens because of all the things that you've been through. Like I know that you've been through a lot. I've certainly faced a lot of adversity, just being a woman in the military, being a woman in very male dominated fields, and being underestimated. People assuming like, oh, you don't deserve to be here. You're here because you're fulfilling some sort of quota, when I know that like I'm more educated than you. I've worked harder. My metrics are better than what yours are. Like I've probably just done way more than you. But, you know, it's just like having that confidence in yourself because you've been through some really difficult times and you've come out just stronger and more successful as a result. I think that's super important, is like having a battle buddy. And I think we were talking about this earlier, is choosing a partner that you know you can go to war with. Like that's what I realized, is life is not going to be easy. Things are going to happen, but it's about how you handle it. Are you just going to fold under pressure and run away? Or are you going to face it head on and be like, all right, we're a team. We'll figure this out. Let's come up with a plan and execute upon that, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, I think trauma bonding is great. Honestly, I mean, people might disagree. I don't know. I think trauma bonding is great because, you know, sometimes I listen to some of my wife's stories and I'm like, holy fuck, you poor soul. And then she's like, yeah, but you grew up in a refugee camp. I'm like, okay, well, fuck, yeah, it's
Trauma
true. You know, all right, whatever,
Gotta
you know,
love it.
cool. And it feels like it normalizes what happened to each of us, and then we can share in that experience. Because I feel like somebody's more traumatized than you, like they're way fucked up. You're never going to be able to understand. So you're always going to feel bad for them. And sometimes people don't want somebody to feel bad for them. They just want to be listened to. They just want to be related to, you know, just understood. And vice versa. Like if you're the one that's been through more and the person you're with hasn't really gone through much, then you're never going to feel like safe to like share, because you're going to be, I'm traumatizing you by telling you this. And now you think you have to like do something to help me. And it's like, you can't, bro. You can only heal your own traumas. Nobody can do it for you.
Exactly.
You something has to click. Neural pathway changes. New pathway gets created, and suddenly you think differently.
Definitely.
And that's the only thing that can happen. Nobody can understand or love or care about you enough to make that happen. You have
Mm-hmm.
to make that choice.
Exactly.
And I mean, trauma bonding's great. You know,
That's hilarious. No, I mean, I totally see the value in that. And, I think now from everything that I've learned this year about my previous relationships and everything is like, yeah, like it's important to be able to relate to someone, not just to be able to sympathize, but to empathize. And maybe you haven't had the same exact life experiences, but to understand, like, hey, like I see that you've been hurt. I see that you've been through some struggle and pain, and now I truly can see who you are now and respect what you've built. Despite all the crap that you've been through. So I think that's when someone can truly see who you are and respect you as a result. But without that, I just can't deal with people who haven't been through adversity anymore because like we can't really relate. It's
yeah.
yeah.
And especially in that male female dynamic, I think like as a man, like you have to go through more, and you have to find somebody that has gone through like a little bit less. I think that's just the way that it works best.
Mm.
Because if your woman is more traumatized than you, like you're just not equipped to handle that. And no matter what, you have to be the one holding the ground. Right. And that's just the way that I see it. I think that's the way that it works. You have to be the one that's, a little bit more on that so you can be in that leading situation.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like what you were saying earlier, you're like, bro, I don't want to fucking lead. Like, why am I leading? But it's like somebody grew up in a perfect household, perfect life, perfect everything. And you're like, yo, I've gone through this, and this. Bad situation happens. He's like freezes or tenses up or gets shocked. And you're like, fuck, I got to deal with this now? Like, what the fuck? Like, you're just...
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. Like, I would love to just be able to step into my feminine and trust a man to lead and guide our partnership, our family. But it takes a very strong person to do that. And until then, like I have to be more masculine, unfortunately. Like I'm running these businesses, I'm networking, I'm making sure that I get the opportunities that I want. And that takes a certain level of aggressiveness and assertiveness. But yeah, my dream guy, whoever he is out there, like I would love to just step into my feminine, be more of a homemaker, like have my businesses running on the side, but not feel like I'm constantly building and doing all this on my own. Like it does get exhausting. It would be nice to have a true partner.
Boom, there you have it, guys. Nemo's dating service now open for business. Melissa here is looking for the list.
Thank you. Hey, I'm open.
No, I love it. That's awesome. And it's I think it's super important to just be open and transparent about what everybody wants, what you want to get out of life, and I think it makes it easier. And with all of this, I think, we all made a lot of mistakes in our lives. What would you say was your biggest mistake?
Oh, man. I think I sort of mentioned to you earlier, it was an investment mistake. I thought I did the vetting. We had a contract in place, but a contract doesn't mean anything unless you have the money and the time and the desire and the lawyers to fight it until you see that through. And I learned that the hard way. And I had to learn that lesson. It was a very expensive lesson, but my life continues to be amazing. And I think that it makes me way more, I guess, scrutinizing or discerning about the people that I do business with now. Like if there's just one sign of like wishy-washy or shadiness, like I don't need your money. I don't want dirty money. I don't want to be involved in something that's going to create some like bad karma or bad energy in my life. Like I want to work hard and earn honest money with honest people who have high integrity and high character. But like I just got shafted and I thought I did my due diligence and I take responsibility for just putting myself in that situation. But at the end of the day, it's like sometimes you have to learn those expensive lessons early on so you're not as naive, you're not as trusting. Because like I said, even with a contract, that means nothing.
Was it crypto?
No, it was an investment into a cannabis thing that was publicly traded company. It was solid. Everything was looking good. Like every box was checked. And this was at the height of everything. And then things happened and the lesson was learned. But I know the great thing is like I realized because I made that mistake early on and learned that lesson, because I'll never do anything like that again, I'll get that money back tenfold. It's already coming back to me, so I'm not really worried about it. But I think sometimes you really do need to learn those lessons, especially when you're doing things on your own. And I was younger back then. I was more naive, and I have no regrets. Like, you live and you learn. Money will always come back.
That's very true. And honestly, this is why I always tell people, look, my personal decision making for why I got into real estate was I don't come from like fifth generation first world capitalism country where like, you know, my dad went to Princeton and my mom to Harvard and whatever, and they know all the people and everything. I didn't live like that. So when I saw, I'm like, how do I build wealth? Well, real estate is the way to go.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that if you fuck up, just wait long enough, it fixes itself.
Yep.
You know, and that's truly the slowest way to wealth. It's not a quick overnight thing. But if you try and work at it for 10 years, you will eventually be successful. You will eventually build long-term wealth, and it will work out. And it's not that you can't lose money in real estate, but just it's very, very easy to just be safe compared to the other stuff. Like, now I know you can triple your money in crypto in 3 hours and whatever the fuck. I mean, you can go to the casino, put it on red, same thing. But if you don't have a family or friends or a network or these things where people can guide you and tell you how these things work, real estate's the best thing for immigrants, for, you know, lower level people that come from a lower class where people, you know, can't just come in and bail you out because you fucked up and your dad's not going to come and save you. Your mom doesn't have a line of credit to just like, don't worry, son, I got you. You're okay. It's a very, very, very safe investment. And I think it's very easy to get started as well. So somebody that's young, I would definitely suggest that. Otherwise, like, do what your parents do. You know, a lot of people are, oh, I have a passion for this. I have this. Bro, what are your parents doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you're a fucking shoemaker, you know, then your son runs the business of the shoemaker, then your grandson might have, you know, like Zara's store or some fucking shit like that.
Yeah.
It works a lot better than everyone's like always trying to change what they want to do and things like that. There's no advantage to that, right? I always thought, you know, when you're young, people say, oh, you know, follow your dreams. Like, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life, blah, blah. This is the most bullshit thing I've ever fucking heard. Like, go make the money and then use the money to pay for your passions.
Exactly.
Don't try to make your passions fund your life.
Exactly.
9 times out of 10, it doesn't fucking work out, you know? Even Nikola Tesla died poor and he followed his passions. You know what I mean? He made electricity. Great. Fuck, look at this light. Phenomenal. Thanks so much. Died alone and broke in a fucking hotel room. Nobody there to help. So, you know, it's tough, right?
Yeah. I mean, no, I agree with that. I feel like in a lot of that, you know, kind of, at least for my background, has to do with like the American dream and the dream that they sold you about home ownership and all these different things that actually today don't make sense for most people.
That's true.
You know, it's like just going to college and having these student loans that you can't discharge through bankruptcy, or like buying a home and then, you know, it's depreciates and then you can't pay it off and you have to maintain it. And it's just like, there's just so many things in reality that just don't make sense with this American dream that we're sold, which is partly the reason why I do not want to live there. I do not want to raise my family there. I think it's unsafe and it's dangerous considering all the things that happened every day, but specifically yesterday.
Fucking yesterday.
Yesterday.
Like, what the fuck?
So yeah, it just highlights to me every day that, like, unfortunately, America is not what it once was. You know, every major empire declines after 250 years. And I think that we're seeing that now just with the healthcare system, the education system, or the lack thereof. Like, other countries are surpassing us.
Yeah.
So I just feel like, you know, in sort of this existential big life thing, it's just like, just make your money, be happy. Like, I don't need to be a billionaire. I want balance at this point in my life. I just want to have a family in a few years and be happy. I don't need to be on a private jet all the time. Like, will I continue to set my sights higher and higher? Of course, I probably always will do that because that's partly also like a trauma response.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's just also finding balance, because at some point you have to be happy with where you are. But if you keep setting the goalpost higher and higher, then you'll just never be happy. And there are tons of people who are billionaires, I hear this all the time, that aren't happy at all. So yeah, I think it's about finding that position where it's just like, I want to be in a beautiful place with beautiful people. And I realize, especially lately, with all the support that I've received, like, the best things in life are free. I just want to be able to go out and eat with my friends and family, just laugh. And that's pretty much when I'm happiest.
Yeah. And, you know, honestly, that I agree with that 100%. And, you know, to add to that, I would say, you know, you have to create a life where you can afford to be happy and you can have things occur that bring you happiness. But happiness is an emotion. And if you're not happy right now, then just don't be fucking happy. Just accept it. Like, you're not I'm not happy every fucking day. You know what I mean? Like, this morning I had to go to the fucking bank, and it's for a great reason.
Yeah.
but I had to spend 4.5 hours there. I'm
Yeah.
not fucking happy.
Yeah.
And they're giving me money, and I'm like, I'm not fucking happy. This is bullshit. Why isn't it 2 hours? Why isn't it 1 hour? Why is it gotta be 4.5 hours? I gotta go do this podcast with Melissa. Now I'm half hour late because you guys are like doing all this bullshit. It's taking too long. I'm not happy, right? But it's like you gotta find a way to be happy being unhappy, because happiness is just an emotion.
Exactly.
And if you just like express all the emotions that come as quickly as possible, not only are you very authentic, but you're releasing emotions. Like emotions are not meant to just be constantly felt.
Yeah.
Like that's weird.
Yeah.
You know, it's just weird. Constant happiness. Like that's like a crazy person. Right. So I think purpose is what I always strive for. Like I want to feel like purpose driven.
Yeah.
And the billionaire question, am I going to be a billionaire or not? Well, it depends. Am I meant to be a billionaire or not? Can I become a billionaire or not? And it also depends on like, can I increase my mindset and my work ethic and my efficiency and my drive and my ambition in a way that eventually leads to me becoming a billionaire? And I think that's the goal. It's sort of like, what's the best version of me?
Yeah.
Is that person a billionaire or not? It doesn't really matter that much. And, I know some people like, they aim for these things. They always put like a number amount or whatever.
Yeah.
I know back in the day, people used to like write $1 million check to themselves and kind of like focus on that. Jim Carrey did that. And it really depends on what works for you.
Yeah.
For me, I hate that stuff. I hate that stuff. Because I feel like the more that I like set goals like that, the more I feel like I'm not there. And then I want to be there. And then I'm in want, which means I'm in less than and lack of. And then it creates like, scarcity. And I was like, fuck this shit. I don't, it's work. Why would I want to do extra work?
Totally.
I love my life every day. I love complaining at the fucking bank. I come here, I fucking talk shit with you. I'm like, fuck these fucking guys. This bullshit, blah, blah. And in underneath, it's like, I'm kind of happy. I'm kind of, you can sense like I'm okay.
Yeah.
But you got to let the complaints out, let the fucking bullshit out, and just when you release, you kind of get to like baseline. You're like, oh, peace. It's all out.
Yeah. Gotta get that out of there.
It's out.
I can't hold it in. That's what it is.
To me, peace is way better than happiness.
Yeah.
I'd rather just be like still and just like, it's all good. Then like,
yeah.
I'm so fucking happy, like a fucking golden retriever. Like how long can you keep that up?
Yeah. I agree.
Boom. Let's do a rapid fire round.
Okay.
Ready? What's a book that changed your life?
I'm reading one right now. I can't remember the name though. Well, there's a relationship one I'm reading. It's called How to Love. I think it's called How to Love Better or How to Love Your Partner Better by Young Pueblo. And that's really great because it's just about like compromise and just communication and working together as a team and stuff like that. So that's been really great.
Sweet. What would 18-year-old you say about you right now?
Oh my gosh. It's so crazy because I feel like I've just changed. I've lived so many lives.
Yeah.
I've traveled so much. I've just done so many things. I think an 18-year-old me would be like, wow. Like, and that's something I've been realizing a lot lately is like just how far I've come. I think she'd be like really impressed and surprised and just like, I can't believe like you've become who you are now.
Nice. Nice. Now, here's a fun question. If you could identify yourself with any character from a book or a movie or a cartoon or an anime or a TV show or a person or anybody in the world that's ever existed, who would you identify yourself with the most?
Since it's a rapid fire, I'm just going to go with the top thing that came. It'd be Harry Potter.
What?
Every time a book was released, Harry and I were like the same age. We were going through things. And especially now I realize like just these themes of like good and evil is like you have to maintain the light and like fight against the darkness or it'll consume you, right? And you have to be that leadership and that strength for the people around you. So Harry Potter has always been one of my favorite book series and really, yeah, I really love that.
But you didn't grow up under the stairs in a closet.
I did not.
Okay, good.
I did not.
Sure. Just making sure. Yeah, I know Korean parents sometimes,
You never know.
You got a B+ closet.
Exactly.
What's your biggest red flag in a person?
Oh my gosh. Not taking accountability, not being able to say, I'm sorry, I'll change, I'll do better. I'm sorry that, just accountability and responsibility. It seems simple, but for some people it's incredibly difficult.
Yes.
That's what I've learned.
That is a big one. I love that one. I truly do love that one. Nice. Nice. Yeah. What's the best money you ever spent?
Best money I ever spent. Gosh, that's a good question. I'm trying to think. Well, I just dropped $4,000 on this like therapy. It's not traditional talk therapy, but it basically helps you get secure and grounded, understand your patterns, why you keep attracting the people that you do in your personal, romantic relationships. A lot of it comes from childhood trauma, the way you were raised and
Mm.
how you saw, for me it was that love felt conditional, and I love my parents and they did their best, but it was like as long as you do these things and do them well, then you'll be loved, or then we'll show
Mhm.
you that affection and attention and give you those words of affirmation. But it was very hard for them to say, good job. The standards were incredibly high and they're always going up. So the therapy that I'm doing, I think, is really going to change my life, because it's something I've been more aware of, is like why I keep attracting these people into my life and repeating these patterns when I don't want to. But it's like once you solve like the root problem or like really understand it, then you can change things going forward. So I'm really excited about this 4K investment.
Amazing. I love that. I love that. I've had a performance coach for the past 2 years,
Mm,
and some of the craziest developments came from that.
yeah.
After my first business failure, I went to my parents' basement and played World of Warcraft for like
Wow.
months straight and just didn't leave and didn't do anything else.
Wow.
And she was the only person that ever asked me, like, well, what did you do in the game? And I was like, oh, well, sure, let's get into it. And I was like, I had a guild. I was the guild leader. I had 350 members online that did all my bitch work and everything. I didn't have to do anything. I just got to play the game for fun and free.
Wow.
And she's like, really? So how do you think that helped you in the future? I'm like, oh, I guess that did help with like leadership and like
Hmm.
running a business, even
It's a
though
great
it was a
story.
video game.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, like, do you think you deserve that time to just help you like rest and heal? And I was like, yeah, I never thought of it that way. Because I was like, well, fuck, if I took the 6 months and learned Spanish and I come to Colombia now, I would be way further ahead, da, da, da. And she's like, yeah, but what are you talking about?
Mhm.
Like you needed that rest.
Yeah.
You needed to heal. And that
Definitely.
was how you chose to fucking
Mhm.
heal.
Mhm.
And I was like, wow, fuck. It was just this big release.
Mhm.
And then I didn't feel bad about it anymore.
That's great.
You know?
Yeah, that's amazing, because we all heal in different ways, whether
Yeah.
it's escapism or compartmentalization or throwing yourself into building something that's fulfilling you and entertaining you and providing you community. And we all do it in different ways, and I don't think that we should judge ourselves or others on how they choose to heal. For me, a lot of it is just by sharing my wisdom, connecting with other people who can relate, and being like, "Oh, wow, you've also been through something like this. You've also been through betrayal or abandonment, and you know how you can understand genuinely how I feel." That's been the healing process. So it was very quick for me to move on. I was sad for one day, and then since then it's just been like I am just welcoming the abundance and the new energy and people into my life. And it's just been so amazing. But I think that's great that you took the time that you needed to heal. And crazy that you had a failed business, because every entrepreneur I've talked to has been through some bad investment or business.
Literally. I mean, I don't know anybody that's knocked it out of the park the first time. It's kind of like the Matrix, right? You got to
Yeah.
jump across the building.
Oh my gosh.
Boom. Nobody makes the first jump. Fuck. Sorry, bro. Doesn't happen. Does not happen that way.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I want to talk about on my podcast, is like we see the success, and like of course on social media everyone's like flexing and doing these things, but I want to know like what was the hardest thing, the failures, and how did you get past that, and then what were the things you did differently?
Yeah, I agree. I think that's what people would actually care about more, because I mean, look, everybody can go online and you can see all the success you want. And it's
Mhm.
very motivating.
Mhm.
And you can go to a dealership and sit in a Lambo and feel the leather and touch the steering wheel. And it's awesome. You should do that. You should be surrounded by that if that's what you want.
Mhm.
But I think what's been most helpful to me, from my coaches, from my mentors, from my friends,
Mhm.
partners, people, is, how did you feel when you were getting fucked over? How did you feel like internally when everything was crashing around you?
Yep.
Like, what did you do in that moment?
Mhm.
Because it's impossible to replicate a scenario.
Yeah.
Like, your scenario is different than my scenario,
Mhm.
but how we felt is probably the same.
Yeah.
Like, you got fucked over on a deal. I got fucked over on a deal. We probably
Mhm.
felt shitty.
Yeah.
Probably felt the same,
The
but the
range of
scenario
emotions.
is so fucking different.
Yeah.
But that's irrelevant. It's what did it feel like? And then what did we do to get through that?
Mhm.
Because I came out on the other side, you came out on the other side, but some people hit that roadblock, they never try again.
Yeah.
Like, fuck business, shit's not for me. I won't
Mhm.
fucking deal with it. Give me a
Mhm.
job, I'll show up, I'll go home,
Yeah.
smoke weed, watch TV, I'm out,
Pretty much.
That's what happens.
Yeah.
But I find that stuff super interesting.
Mhm.
Okay, 60 seconds, message to the world, what would you say?
Oh, I think that, whatever you're going through, everyone is going through something difficult or they have at some point in their life. And just know that it'll end. You'll come out on the other end of it stronger, like just better mindset, hopefully, and take the steps to heal so you don't traumatize other people or repeat the same patterns, because we have to take responsibility for our own actions. Like, at the end of the day, but just know it's going to end and that you can accomplish anything that you set your mind to. Like whatever you want in life, it's yours. You just have to take those steps to get there.
I love it. I love it. Melissa, thank you so much. How can people get in touch with you?
On Instagram, my Instagram is Mel Takes Flight. Same with TikTok, and my website for my AI automation business is called Launchpad Fast. So it's launchpadfast.com.
Amazing. Amazing. I love it. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
It's been an absolute pleasure. And I
you.
can't wait for your podcast to come out.
Yeah, I'll have to have you as guest on my podcast.
I'm more than happy. It's going to be a blast.
Thank you.
Till next time, guys. Peace out. That's a wrap on today's episode with Melissa Kill. Her story is a reminder that reinvention starts with mindset, environment, and the courage to face your own problems. If you enjoy this conversation, share it with someone who needs it. And don't forget to subscribe to Nemology on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and I'll see you in the next episode.